So today is Blue Monday, famously the day when after Christmas and New Year and all the shenanigans of that, um, everyone gets depressed, everyone gets worn out, everyone gets miserable, and organizations love Blue Monday because we may, as we live in a capitalist society, try and fix that emptiness, that depression, that low feeling by buying stuff, by spending money, by trying to fix what we feel with stuff. That's just what we do. We're all kind of hardwired to do that. Um, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I hope you also know that Blue Monday isn't really a thing. It was invented. It was invented by ad agencies, I think, if I remember rightly, to sell air tickets, holiday destinations. Oh, you feel sad, you feel depressed. Nip off to an island somewhere in the middle of the Adriatic or the Indian Ocean and hide from the realities of the world. It doesn't exist. There's no science behind it. There's no one day, 1 week, 1 month, one season, one feeling, one time of day. None of that stuff is a prerequisite for most of us at least, to feel depressed or to struggle with other mental health and well-being issues. It's just something that sometimes we all struggle with. Some of us live with clinical conditions like depression or anxiety or other diagnosed conditions, undiagnosed conditions. A lot of us live with too. Many of us recognize signs and symptoms of non-clinical mental well-being issues, like when we feel depressed, but we may not have depression, when we know that we feel anxious, but we may not have anxiety. The problem I have with Blue Monday is that there's a real chance it increases stigma around depression in particular, but in mental health and well-being in general. Because what it does is it tells people that, oh, fine, around the second week of January, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling like your hope has gone, then this is why. This is why you feel that way. And like give it a couple of days, do something nice for yourself, and then you'll be fine. And many of us who struggle with our well-being, if we're honest, and sometimes it takes a long time and some real hard struggles to reach this level of honesty. But if we're honest, we recognize that external factors, whilst they may influence, are rarely the cause. And that's really important if you are struggling today, that you know that external factors might influence, but they're not likely to be the cause on their own of your struggles. Obviously, if you're in a difficult relationship, abusive relationship or relationship breakdown, obviously, if you're struggling with your finances, obviously, if other things are going on that are wildly out of your control or wildly your fault and you regret, then those things will affect your well-being. But conditions like depression, anxiety, and other very common mental health conditions, they're not just set off by these things. They're influenced by them, but they're not caused by them. I have a depressed brain. My brain rebels against me sometimes. My brain tells me that um, that I'm a waste of time. My brain tells me that that thing isn't worth doing. My brain tells me that no one will be interested in what I have to say. My brain tells me that I'm the worst dad in the world, the worst husband in the world, the worst son in the world. It tells me that all the time, sometimes, and sometimes it's quiet on those things. And sometimes levels of sunlight will affect how I cope. Certainly, levels of exercise, boring adult things, as I always say on the mental health training that I do, like sleep routines, eating, making sure I have enough exercise, making sure I'm doing some stuff that's fun or relaxing, making sure that I'm switching my brain off from just work, if that's a trap that I might feel myself falling into. Those things can help. But sometimes I just have to roll with it. And I have to admit that today, for reasons that I may never fully understand, isn't going to be a great day. And with my coaching hat on, what I want to do every time is recognize that and respond with what I can do rather than focus on things that I can't do. I recognize that it's really hard to do that sometimes. And even as a coach, I'm honest about that. I'm honest. There's days when I utterly fail to motivate myself. I utterly fail to do even the simple things that I know will help me. But that can happen any day, any time of day, any year, any month, when I'm with my family and my loved ones, when I've been alone for a while, when I've got a massive deadline that I'm avoiding, or when I've just achieved something really brilliant. Sometimes my depressed brain can rebel against me. Sometimes, when those horrible circumstances are around, my depressed brain doesn't care, and it's fine. So if you're struggling today, know that it's okay to struggle, and that often the first way to start to recover when we're struggling is to admit to ourselves and then find a safe person to also have a conversation with. Just admit that we're struggling, even if all that person says is, that sucks. Is there anything I can do? And even if our answer is no, but I'm glad I told you. So if you're feeling blue today, it's not because it's Blue Monday, but do go and listen to the song because that's always worthwhile.